Gentleman yields back, and I recognize Ranking Member Grijalva for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Summers, question. Part of the discussion, almost the entire discussion has been about NEPA and how it slows the ability for full extraction of gas, oil, mining, et cetera. Another piece of legislation that guides the mining industry is 1872 law. And like was stated about NEPA, that it's time to fine tune it, bring it up to date to these times. Do you feel the same? Do you feel that this committee should explore that as well with the 1872 mining law?
Thank you for the question. I think that any federal statute is not going to be perfect, and there's opportunities to refine them. But I do think that it's necessary to clarify that the mining law of 1872 is a land tenure law. It's the law that guides how you get the legal rights to develop mineral opportunities here in the U.S. It's not an environmental protection or conservation law. You know, for that we've got NEPA, we've got the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, we've got NAGPRA. I mean, there's a number of different. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. It's just the 1970s and the 1870s. That's the difference I was trying to draw to. Mr. Holloman, do you feel, as part of, and you mentioned in your testimony the having to do business with foreign mining entities, multinational corporations that work in other parts of the world that exploit people, horrible labor standards, no concern for environmental protections or clean air, clean water issues. Do you feel those kind of entities should be allowed to do business if they're violating it at that level in other countries, do business on public lands and waters here in the United States?
Absolutely not.
And any look at going forward in the future, those kinds of bans and restrictions would be appropriate? Let's say Rio Tinto, who has a horrible history in other parts of the world, but has major mining industry here in the United States, they be banned from doing business on public land?
They should be looked at very closely. The foreign entities that are not keeping the standards up to American standards elsewhere in the world must be looked at. The Congo, for example, you have all types of mining.
Let me, and thank you, Chairman Franco, for being here with us. I think one of the misunderstood issues about something is being slowed down in terms of the points that you were making fails to recognize that in many, whether it's Oak Flat, whether it's the Ottoman Santa Rita, whether it is other issues affecting tribes, whether in Nevada and other parts, the issue of sacred sites, cultural and historic resources, why they need to be brought up in the consideration, evaluation, and analysis, and the consultation with the tribes.
Yeah, there's
Talk about that importance and why many of the conflicts we see out there between Indian country and a mining entity or another development has to do with that core issue.
Right. So let me first say that the reason why I think that Navajo's outfit is working so well is they're accountable to their own people. When you bring foreign interests in, they're not accountable to the United States people, unless we hold them accountable. And that's what I would look to all of you to do, and my colleagues up here. The importance of sacred sites and how that connects. A Canadian mining company doesn't care what they're doing to Indigenous people in the United States. It's maybe they do, but they sure haven't been showing it, right? Once those resources are gone, like I was saying earlier, they're gone. You know, when you disrespect the tribal burials like that by just, coming and mining and leaving the human remains on the surface, not even giving them the dignity of reburial, or even inviting the tribe to come along and assist. So those are just things that as a country I think we're better than. As a Congress, I know that you're better than, right? And you all have the opportunity to stop those kinds of foolishness from happening. And I know that it's something that is of interest with you as well. Sacred site protection is of the utmost importance, to American Indian tribes. It's right up there with language, right up there with safety, and right up there with our families.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. If Mr. Adams, the Navajo Nation consistently, regardless of the administration. Their elected officials have voted consistently, resolution and action after action, banning uranium mining on the in the nation, banning the transport having to do with the legacy. And as a partner of the Navajo Nation in the business relationship, how do you feel about that?
I appreciate the question. I can't represent the Navajo Nation or the thoughts of the government. I know that there is not there are a lot of difficult decisions that were made in the past. I know that the policy right now is that they've had issues with uranium and they don't want to deal with it. What the future holds, what the new president, Bo Nygren, is going to do with that, we don't know at this point. We are not pushing on uranium angles.
With that, yield back, Mr. Chairman.